Hello fellow gamers, I'm Christopher Chrisman of Retro Game Network, and coming up next, a look at last week's retro video game news on the RGN Files for the week ending Sunday, January 13, 2019. Last week was the famous Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, and retro gaming fans had some interesting products that were demonstrated to them for future developments. Topping our coverage from CES this year comes to us from Hyperkin, who has made the announcement of an upcoming product called the Hyper Blaster HD. The device is a combination light gun and cartridge adapter that will provide gamers with an NES Zapper-like device that is fully compatible with high-definition televisions. This is a breakthrough in such technology, as light guns have rarely been compatible with HD TVs due to the differences in technology that was required for them to originally function. Traditionally, when a trigger is pulled, the television clears the screen and goes entirely black for a single frame. Possible targets would then appear as a white area for a second frame, and then the gun would tell the game whether or not there was a hit. The lag that plagues HD televisions causes these controllers to be unfunctional. However, this upcoming adapter synchronizes the black and white frames to the light gun's trigger, making it possible to use light gun games on current model televisions for the very first time. As of right now, the setup is only compatible with the NES edition of Duck Hunt. However, Hyperkin has stated that they are working on an additional adapter for the future, as well as the possibility of a universal game adapter as well. There is currently no word on a release date or price range for the upcoming Hyper Blaster HD. In other CES coverage this week, Retrobit has been showing off their upcoming devices that are possible thanks to its recent collaborations with Sega. Alongside of new controllers for the Genesis, Dreamcast, and Saturn, the company has also displayed a brand new handheld device that will allow you to play 16-bit Sega games in the palm of your hands. The console, known as the Genesis Portable, is a spiritual successor, both functionally and physically, of the Sega Nomad, a similar device that was produced by Sega in the mid to late 1990s. The upcoming device will offer compatibility with both American Genesis and European Mega Drive cartridges, in which the regions can be switched out thanks to a physical toggle switch on the device. It will also offer HDMI connectivity for using the system as a full home console, similar to the Nomad, which had a similar feature for the then current television model. The build shown off at CES was a very early prototype, and additional details are expected to come from Retrobit within upcoming months. There is no release date at this time, however it has been rumored that the device will cost approximately $80. Concluding our news directly from the CES floor plan is information that has been given to us from Tastemakers, the creators of the Arcade 1-Up home arcade devices. The company has announced a brand new and upcoming wave of these smaller scale arcade cabinets intended for home gamers that will be developed within the next couple of months. Cabinets dedicated to the Mortal Kombat series, which will include the first 3 games of the lineup, has many gamers curious. In addition, cabinets will also be developed for Space Invaders, which will include both the black and white and deluxe color edition, as well as a version for fans of the Golden Tee series, in which 4 games will be provided. Other cabinets are also in the works for fans of Capcom and Data East classics, which will include such games as Karate Champ, Burger Time, Final Fight, and Ghosts and Goblins. Arcade 1-Up's cabinets take advantage of modern LCD technology and use 17-inch displays with a cabinet outfit that is about 75% of the size of a full arcade cabinet. These devices will be released at various times throughout 2019 and are expected to cost just under $300 per machine. In other news this week, one would think that after over 3 decades, that every possible glitch would be discovered in retro video games. However, that was recently proven to not be the case. A video game hacker known as Skelex has recently shown off a video of a so-called minus level showing off areas of the NES game The Legend of Zelda that were never intended to be accessed by the player. This particular part of the game contains extra hidden pieces of program code that has never been seen by gamers up until this point. Unlike the infamous Super Mario Bros. Routine, accessing the actual program code was required for access to these unreleased Zelda levels. The map in Zelda 1 covers an 8x16 grid. However, the game is capable of measuring Link's position over a 16x16 grid in actuality. Some of the discoveries include reversed enemy sprites, and Link is able to walk across mountains, rivers, and trees. Another interesting discovery was the numerous graveyards scattered throughout this world. Unlike the glitch that allows you to rapidly skip to the game's ending, this unlocked level will not assist you with actually completing the game. A new entry in Atari's famous Real Sports series has been developed, this time as a brand new homebrew title. Real Sports Curling for the Atari 5200 Super System brings the unique Olympic event to home gamers on the interactive small screen. During a curling session, players slide polished granite stones on a sheet of ice towards a bullseye-like target area in a manner similar to shuffleboard. While some may argue that curling is not actually a sport, it does actually require physical and mental skill. The game is the creation of Ryan Whitmer, who has captured all of the major points of the experience, including aiming, sweeping, and the selection of the weight of your shots. Real Sports Curling supports up to 8 players, however a 4-port model of the Atari 5200 is required for certain modes to function properly. The game has been crammed onto a 32KB cartridge and has been released for sale on physical media via Atari Age. The entire package, which includes the cartridge itself, box, and a full-color 12-page manual, sells for $45. Fans of the NES port of the arcade classic Bubble Bobble have a brand new adventure to try out and play thanks to a new ROM hack that has been recently released. Bubble Bobble Deluxe, created by Polar Hacker alongside of Trax, Biscuit, and Starzin, provides 100 brand new levels to play within the Cave of Monsters. The hack has been in development since 2015 and has finally been completed and released to the public. Alongside of the newly redesigned levels, gamers will also get new and updated graphics as well as brand new passwords to continue your progress at a later time if needed. In order to bring Bub and Bob to the updated Bubble Bobble Deluxe Edition, you will need the original NES Bubble Bobble ROM image and a program to apply the patch. The game is fully compatible with most NES emulation programs, as well as by means of any flashcard device that accepts ROM patches. And finally this week, we bring you the latest financial and box office numbers for Walt Disney's Ralph Breaks the Internet. As of the end of the business day yesterday, the film has brought in a grand total of over $434.1 million, grossing a total of over $259.1 million since its release last Thanksgiving. For the first time since its debut, the film has dropped out of the top 10 after 54 days, with the movie presently at the number 12 position on the charts. It has also seen an additional drop in the total number of screens showing the film, with only 1,554 screens showing the movie nationwide. Future releases are scheduled for Germany on January 24th, with other debuts happening in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and France next month. Because Ralph Breaks the Internet has officially exited the top 10, this now concludes Retro Game Network's regular weekly coverage. That's it for this week's edition of the RGN Files. This is a reminder that our official radio program, VGM on FM, is currently on its winter hiatus and will be returning to the airwaves later this month. Details will be updated on our website at RetroGameNetwork.com, where you can also get complete details of any of this week's featured stories. In addition, with the conclusion of our weekly Ralph Breaks the Internet coverage, starting next week, our podcasts will return to its normal uploading schedule of Sundays at approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And be sure to check us out on our social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Retro Game Network, and on Twitter and Twitch at RetroGameNet. For the RGN Files, I'm Christopher Chrisman. This week's news story is provided by the following: Atari Age, Box Office Mojo, ComicBook.com, Destructoid, Digital Trends, Indie Retro News, Nintendo Life, Retro Magazine, Retro RGB, RomHacking.net, the Sega 16 Forums, Tweaktown.